Hi, this is Dr. Fast here. In this video, I will show you this car dash camera. This is model number GF100. I got this from a website called Tomtop. I'll put a link in my description below. Now, this camera records in 1080p. The lens is 170-degree wide angle, and it also features a 2.7-inch LCD display on the back. So let's open this up and I'll show you what it looks like. This is the camera itself. This is the mini USB cable, cigarette lighter, power adapter, suction cup mount for the windshield, user manual. Here are all the parts laid out, and this has a very interesting mount. The suction cup actually integrates the charging port on the base here, and you connect this base to the camera using these contacts here. Push this onto the top of the camera, and then if you push this tab and you wiggle it, that's how you remove the camera off the mount. The suction cup has a unique design. Besides the USB connector integrated into the base, many suction cups you have a latch where you pull on it or lock it in place. This one, you have to rotate the base, and when you rotate it, it locks that suction cup onto the windshield. With the ball joint to adjust the angle of the camera, to lock it in place, all you have to do is rotate this collar until it's tight. Let's have a closer look at the camera and go over the features. The camera records in 1920 by 1080p Full HD at 30 frames per second. It uses H.264 MPEG-4 compression. The lens on the camera is a 170-degree wide-angle lens. It supports night vision recording using the 4 infrared LEDs on the front. It has seamless loop cycle recording function. It has motion detection function and G-sensor function. This camera will also turn on and off automatically if your cigarette lighter port is controlled by the ignition. So when you shut off the vehicle with no power, the internal battery in the camera will keep this powered, and using the delay power off function, it will automatically shut off the camera. The camera can support micro SD card up to 32 GB. One thing nice about this camera is that the front body of this camera is all metal. Usually for this price range, you'll find most of the dash cameras are made of plastic, but this one is all metal here. On the back, it features touch sensitive buttons. On the bottom, we have the microphone, the reset button, HDMI port, and the micro SD card slot. Over here on the side, we have the power button. Here is a speaker. On the top side of the camera, we have the mini USB connector and the AV out. On the back of the camera, we have the buttons on the left side, mode, menu, and they call this the SOS button. Typically, this button is used to lock the video clip from being overwritten. There's the up button, down button, and the OK button. To install the memory card is very simple. All you have to do is insert the micro SD card into this slot right here and push it in until it clicks. So let's power this up and go through the menu. But before I do that, I'm going to remove the protective film on the LCD. So let's go to the menu and let's go through the setup. And by default, right now it looks like it's in Russian. Let's see how I can change that. Okay, after playing with it for a little bit, I figured out how to change the language. So if you go to menu, it'll go to the camera setup. Press the menu again, it'll go to the setup tab right here. The first item is the language. Press OK. OK. Keep on scrolling until you get to English. Right there. Yes. Okay, now that we have the language configured, let's go back into the menu setup. First press of the menu will go to the recording setup. If you press the menu button again, it'll go to the next tab over. This is the camera general setup menu, and the first item is language, and I've set this to English now. Let's scroll down. The volume, right now it's set to 8. Date, time, TV out. You can set this for NTSC or PAL. I'm in North America, so I'll leave this in NTSC. format, if you want to format the micro SD card, system reset, auto off, and right now it's set to 1 minute, so when you turn off the ignition, it will turn off after 1 minute. Light frequency, you can choose 50 Hz or 60 Hz. This is the date timestamp on your video. You can set this for date only, off, or date and clock. LCD off by default is set to off because we want the LCD to stay on. Next one down, G sensor. There are different levels of G sensor sensitivity. Default was 7. I'll leave that as 7. Let's press the menu. Now you exit back to the main screen. Now let's go to the camera recording setup. So the first setting there is the resolution. By default is 1280 by 720 30p. Next one is 1920 by 1080 30p. 1440 by 1080 30p. 1280 by 720 60p. And we're back to 1280 by 720 30p. EV is the exposure compensation. By default is 0. You can increase or decrease that. Audio is off. I want this to be on so it will record the audio. White balance, the default mode is auto. You can change this to fluorescent, tungsten, cloudy, sunny, or auto. I'm going to leave this in auto. Contrast, standard, soft, hard. I'm going to leave this in standard. Sharpness, effect. Recycle, this is the loop recording. You can set this for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or off. I'll go ahead and leave this at 5 minutes. I know many car dash camera, the default is 3 minutes, but it's up to you. Delay off, yes or no. Infrared light, on or off. Motion detection, there's a sensor inside this camera so that if it's powered off, it will actually sense any type of motion. Say somebody hit your car, it'll turn the camera back on its own, record a video clip, and it'll shut itself down afterwards. So that's what that motion detection is for. The MD Sense is the motion detection sensitivity setting. Press menu again, and it'll go back to the recording main screen. From the video recording screen, if you press the mode button at the top left hand corner, you go to the still picture mode. So pressing the OK button will take a snapshot. Press the mode button again. Now you're in the playback mode. Select the SD card or the NAND flash. I'm going to select the SD card. Now you can press the up and down arrow key to scroll to different video clips. Press OK to play. Press OK to stop. Press menu button. Now you have the option to delete this video clip. Press OK. Press the down arrow key to delete the file, yes. OK. Press the menu button again, and again. You'll be back to the playback mode. Press mode again. And you're back to the video recording mode. To install the camera is very simple. The cigarette lighter cable they provide you has plenty of length. That cable measures 9.5 feet long. Plug the cigarette lighter plug into the socket. Then run your cable underneath the dash. Use some tie wraps to tie it to some existing wire loom, and then run it all the way to the door jamb. Remove the molding and run it up to the headliner. With a mini USB cable plugged into the suction cup mounts, go ahead and place the suction cup on the windshield and have the cable pointed upwards. Now rotate this clockwise to lock it in place. One thing about this mount I noticed is that make sure you rotate this locking collar here for the suction cup at least a quarter turn. If you only lock it in a little bit, what happens is that after a while it will fall off. Loosen the collar here, adjust the angle of the camera, and then you lock it by turning this knob. So I'm going to turn on the ignition right now, and the camera will turn on. Now while recording, if you want to stop the recording, press the OK button right here. And then the recording will stop. If you want to start the recording again, press the OK button. While it's recording, if there's a video clip, you want to lock it in so it won't get overwritten, press this icon right here. And that will give you a lock icon telling you this video clip is now protected. Press it again to unlock it. Also, while it's recording, if you press the up and down arrow, you can set the zoom of the camera. Right now I'm going to zoom in on the camera. Let me zoom back out. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching the review of this dash camera. I will put a link for this item in my description below. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, and don't forget to click on thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.